Alright guys, Kremp again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. The Gentleman's Agreement Committee comes together last night to decide what's going to happen with the GAs that have been causing so much drama over the last couple of days. The snipers become a key discussion point. Many teams opposing the ban of snipers in play, but for various reasons, they are still getting banned regardless. So much reaction here, certainly from Dashy, who wants to use the snipers in this game and believes the decisions made by the pros are not only ill-advised, but also the reason they give for their decisions is simply false compared to the reality of the situation. The community as a result in uproar in many different regards. Very much interested in your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate it. First of all, a couple of updates. Sam Phoenix, who's been coaching various teams in the CDL over the last couple of years, of course, he was involved in the Vegas Legion last season. Before that, he was on the Seattle Surge, and wishing Phoenix the best because he's decided to take his last day in competitive COD and actually move over to the Overwatch scene with the intention to coach our team and make waves over there. So wishing Phoenix the best. A well-liked guy. Of course, we see Pred and Attach and many others in the replies given in the best of luck with his future adventures. There's also this that Shotzzy, I'm sure, is going to be rather happy about because I know he's been talking about this a fair bit, as have others, on the mantle speed. So when you're trying to mantle over high ledges, sometimes it takes longer than you might expect, especially for a game with such fluid movement, and it wasn't the end of the world in my opinion, and obviously in previous Call of Duty games, the mantling would be slower. I do miss the days of Black Ops 2 dexterity mantling, where you'd hop over those things in, half a second, and it seems like they are making that kind of happen again. So in both Warzone and in multiplayer, they have increased the speed of which, players pull themselves over high ledges or walls. So Shotzzy's going to be buzzing about this, I think, and it's just funny to think about, really, how many features of this game, I wouldn't say are designed for Shotzzy, but Shotzzy's certainly going to like, and lots of the things that he says, hey, I'd like this to maybe be done or thought about, Traeger coming in and delivering. So he's going to be a fun player to watch this year. He's not going to be running a sniper though, because yes, let's talk about the drama. Scrappy, obviously big discussion point yesterday, saying how he doesn't really care what's banned and what's not banned, but then of course he gives his perspective on it anyway. And yeah, Scrap was clowning people. We know that BenJ, he came up with his theory, right, on what they were going to do, put together this GA committee, and look, I know that BenJ had the best intentions at heart. Unfortunately, the way the COD pros are right now, I feel like that, attempt was never going to go that far. But, at the end of the day, we did get something on stream yesterday. There was meant to be a GA committee meeting. There was some concern as to whether the teams were going to show up or not, and we still didn't really know exactly what was happening, and it wasn't, it didn't exactly go to plan. And unfortunately, even in BenJ's ideal world, where there is team representatives, one from every CDL team, then there is some additional couple of individuals that get nominated basically by those representatives to have additional opinions on the matter, to discuss the voting conditions that we have. The reality is that even if that was to be the case, which it isn't right now, but in a hypothetical world in the future, even maybe the league would get involved and help set something like that up. Even if that's true, you still are reliant in that model on the pros to make good decisions, because at the end of the day, if the pros make a certain call, regardless of the actual setup and the way that those GAs are implemented, the GAs might still be bad. And this is what's caused drama, and this is the frustrating thing. And actually, Clay says in a couple of minutes' time here, maybe this whole vote that we're discussing today wasn't even valid, and therefore, well, basically, snipers should be back in. So we'll get to that at the end of the video. But for now, this is what was happening. So the snipers by the pros had been banned. And it's always stupid when this happens, isn't it? Because they get banned because in the group chat DM they had, someone got pissed on by Beans in a search and destroy scrim and said, look, the sniper's way too good. And there's always a bit of confirmation bias in play as well. That team or that player who got slammed, they already probably wanted the sniper gone. They probably don't have a good sniper rifle player on their team. They were probably running around corners expecting Beans to snipe them so that then they could complain about it in the chat. Like, that's actually how these things probably go. Anyway, some team gets slammed. They mention in the chat, hey, the sniper's too good, even without attachment. It's got to go, no skill, whatever. Smokes don't work. You can't make this cross even though you can. Whatever. That happens, it goes in the chat, and the other teams are like, well, I guess we don't have a great sniper player. Yeah, I'm down to vote it out, and it gets voted out. A few teams voted in, I imagine, at the time, and have been frustrated about it, and obviously you know that the snipers actually aren't too good in this game, which is certainly my read on it, and many of the community's read on it, and even if they are very strong, well, what are you going to do? one player pulls out a sniper on one team, the other guy can pull out a sniper as well and counter that, no problem at all. This was happening all over Black Ops 4. And also, even the best sniper rifle players in the game, they're not going to run a sniper every single round. That's what frustrates me. The sniper might be good. If the sniper was allowed, are you seeing 8 of them on the map? Absolutely not. You're seeing probably 2 on some maps for some of the rounds. Like, you're telling me that's way too... Like, what are we talking about here? But because it got banned the other day, that now means that if you want to bring it back in, you now need to like overturn that vote, right? So this is where Clayster's drama comes in, we'll discuss in a second. But yeah, OpTic wanted it in, Surge wanted in, Cloud9 wanted in, potentially Ultra wanted in as well, likely because, you know, Beans is over there, he likes sniping in the search and destroy. Ravens definitely wanted it gone, and that's the thing with Ravens, it's like, well, sure, you look at that roster, Slasher, TJ, Gwinn and Vivid, do they really have a player who's notable, you know, for sniping? I think maybe Vivid could do a decent job of it, but not really, do they? Whereas for these other teams, it's the other story, right? Sib's a good sniper on the Cloud9 team, etc., etc. And obviously Scrappy's going to say, oh, he doesn't care what we play with, but you know, I'm not sure that always adds up. I'll share a couple of clips for you guys in a second here, certainly when we talk about what Dashy has to say on the whole situation, because we know Dashy's great with a sniper rifle. He started playing as a competitive sniper back in Modern Warfare 2. That was his whole thing. And the snipers are going to be gone again from competitive play. There's a question, is it time we just start bullying the pros? We've done it before, we're going to try, I think, and Hitch is going to try. He actually says this, you're some bums, and he ats every single player in the league. He starts here and then he says, you know, part 2. And obviously he's slamming his own team as well at Dashy, Shotzzy, Pred, Kenny, etc, etc. And just at all of the players and the coaches in terms of Rabo and stuff like this in the league. I thought this was kind of funny. Now, obviously, Dashy's in the replies saying, look, friendly fire. This ain't on me, I didn't vote for it, we didn't vote for it, and obviously he's also on OpTic as well, as he says, yeah, friendly fire in the replies, and yeah, let's have a think about what Dashy has to say, because he gave his thoughts on this last night as well, and I thought his perspective was very interesting actually, in terms of why the snipers are not too strong, why they should be allowed to use, but also mainly why the pros make the decisions that they do, because at the end of the day, even if there was a proper GA committee ran by the league, as long as the pros are involved in some capacity, you're always liable to get moments like this when, you know, people who actually watch the game and people who actually use the sniper rifles are massively disagreeing on what the case is. Dashy's opinion is, many of these guys complaining about the snipers don't even use them, don't even try and do the things with them that they say that they can do. And it's not because these are valid reasons. He says that it's basically just bias. It's teams wanting to make changes to the meta because it benefits them. And we've always known this is a thing. And Dashy just says, yeah, straight up, they will pretend that their reasoning for making these decisions is one thing, but actually it's something rather different. And it's very frustrating when you've got players like Dashy and teams like OpTic and many other teams as well that want it in, but due to the terrible process we currently have, it's, you know, getting banned, even though the community is like 95% in favor of having it in. So I'll share these couple of clips here, then we'll talk about it a bit more.
Boring as fuck to watch. That's like the wave I'm on, because I just know what the sniper did for me. The first ever event I watched was MLG Anaheim in 2013. The thing that got me hooked on it, I guess Comp COD, was watching Nade snipe. I remember he had like a crazy ass collab on raid. The snipers just create so many godlike moments. Just has different like aura, especially at an event. Like you see somebody snipe like in front of a crowd, they start going off. Like it's like people just get more locked in, they get more invested into watching it. When I went in the call, I was semi-trolling, but at the same time I just realized that these guys don't even snipe. It's like actually pointless to discuss something that they think is OP when A, none of them are capable of actually doing anything they're talking about with the sniper, or B, like have even just tested it or like used it themselves or fucking experienced like something like fucking totally absurd. They're just so scared to fucking add a little bit more strategy to S&D. As somebody that's obviously really good with it, I don't snipe. If there's 10, 11 rounds in the game, I'll snipe 2-3 rounds, bro. Not even a fucking quarter of the game. And I'm supposed to be nasty with it, right? Like, I think it's troll to snipe every round. Like, it's not that good. You have no fucking attachments. You get hit markers. Flinch is insane. They know where you're at. They see your glint. I wouldn't mind the GA as much if people were literally honest. Like, dude, I'm literally dog shit with the sniper. I can't do half the things, like, that are fucking good with it. We just want it out because we don't got a sniper. I would be like, damn, this is biased, but I wouldn't be like, like, I get it. Motherfuckers are capping, saying that it's OP, this and that. One, they don't have a sniper. Two, they're not capable of doing half the shit they're talking about with this. So I'm like, bro, if I know you can't do half the shit, you cannot comment on this. Because as somebody that's actually pretty good with the sniper over the years, the shit that people are saying you could do, I'm like, show me, bro. I'd love to do that too. Yeah, Dante's actually good with the sniper. So if he wants it, like, I could like see his argument with it. I don't think it's pros being brain dead, chat. I genuinely don't think it's that. I think it's just bias, man. And I get it. I'm not gonna sit here and fucking act like a hypocrite. People are just gonna do it for like the betterment of their team, bro. It's just the reasoning behind it. Like, cause like the reasoning behind it is very like insane.
What did you guys vote,
You better lock in,
TJ?
dude. You better lock in,
You guys vote
Fuck
snipers
no
in,
snipers.
buddy?
Hey, no, hell no.
Let him know, Fat Bob.
Why
The real
not,
SMD
Teach? You don't like
pioneer.
snipers, Teach?
Nah, cause listen.
Alright, I'm
Cause
listening.
garbage S&D players. I can give examples. Can use
Give the
snipers.
examples. Give the examples.
Benjamin Beans
Oh,
can use
shit.
snipers and be good at S&D because of that, bro.
Oh, shit.
He's smiling while saying it. He's smiling while
Yo, they can have
saying
an
it.
impact, bro. They can have an impact.
Oh, shit. Yo, Beans. Yo, Carolina better
Nah,
not
look.
lose S&D to Toronto. Carolina better not lose S&D to them, bro.
Mhm. Is there any other reasons?
well,
Is
no,
there
no,
any
no,
other
no.
reasons?
Obviously, TJ gave his thoughts on this as well about, Beans using the snipers, so he's going to be good at search and destroy because of that. But it's like, yeah, that's kind of how it works. This is the game. The sniper rifles are in the game. If you're good with them, you deserve an advantage. It's like in Counter-Strike, Jame is good with the sniper. He's not so good with the other weapons. But you're playing a game with a sniper in. So, that's how it works, no? I don't really understand what this is all about. So, and then the community voted on this and said, should snipers be in? And in the flank or in Zuma's stream yesterday, yes, received, 91% of the votes with a couple of or whatever they call it, abstaining, right? So a couple of people just wanted to see the results. But yeah, 91% to like 7% basically in terms of people that actually voted for snipers being in. So that's the perspective of the community. That's a no-brainer. And even as Dashy says, there have been moments in COD history where snipers make things far more entertaining. I think the pros have to realize, because often the pros, when they're talking to the chat and stuff about this, and they're kind of clowning the chat for wanting the snipers in, I think sometimes the pros have got to understand, if there's no fans, if there's no community, they don't have a job. Like, the pros can complain about the salary cuts they get. They can complain about the lack of growth in the scene, and then they make decisions like this, which genuinely 100% have some effect on inhibiting the growth of the scene. There will be new fans this season that watched competitive Call of Duty for the first time, and there will be certain fans that are not as inspired by watching the gameplay experience because there are no sniper rifles. It may seem like a relatively small deal, but it is consequential over a course of several years, and the pros are doing it to themselves on some level, and the CDL is not stepping in to do anything about it. So, in some ways, we get what's coming to us as a competitive Call of Duty scene if things just fall off a cliff, and same thing for the pro players that don't have a job in a couple of years. For some of the guys, sure, they can stream, fine, they get away with it. Some of the guys, that's not going to be so true. So, yeah, that's why I'm frustrated about it, because I want this scene to grow and to thrive and to be as best as it possibly can be, and it just does not seem like we're getting there with what we are currently seeing. As Octane says, can't wait to watch the same guns with zero variants again, and Kenny says it would still be like that if every gun was allowed, but Octane's like, that ain't true. If every gun was allowed, we'd see Sorgs get pulled out on certain hills, we'd see, different ARs maybe being used on certain hardpoints, and of course the snipers. As Kenny says, there were 8 M4s on the map, but it isn't even the best AR, which, you know what, fair enough. There's some GAs that are valid, and I don't know if that's true for the M4 necessarily, but sometimes there is a weapon that's way too strong, the Krieg, maybe the Model L, the M4, whatever. They'll ban it, and the game will have more variation as a result. But I do think Alessandro kind of cooked here when he said, hang on a second, you guys were saying that on Skyline Second Hill, we were seeing 8 Sorgs on the map because the gun was so good. That kind of implication, that's what the pros tend to say. They're like, oh, well, we've got to ban this gun because we're seeing 8 of them on the map and the game's boring to play. But it's like, hang on a second, we're seeing 8 M4s on the map or 8 ARs on the map on this hill and 8 Sorgs on the map on that hill. Like, that doesn't add up. Like, no one buys that, so let's be honest. So, yeah, Kenny says the Sorg wouldn't even be touched if every gun was in, and, yeah, it's an interesting point, isn't it, that the Sorg wouldn't even be used if every gun was allowed, so why does it need to be banned, I guess is the question. And Kenny says, I just hate this whole we need more variety that relies on the GA, and I get that perspective from Kenny, that the GAs can be used to help balance the game a bit more, but this whole 8 ARs on the map cheese, I think it's time to go. So, yeah, intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. As I say, Clayster then came out and said that because there wasn't enough testing initially, the voting that they did was actually a revote. So this is the argument that some teams are making, is that, hey, hang on a second, this wasn't a vote to put it back in, this was actually a revote to get it out, and therefore they needed 9 votes to get it out, and therefore snipers are in, and Ben's like, insane late night development if true. So we'll see if that actually does anything. anything here. But yeah, massively intrigued to your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.